All right, welcome in, guys. James Phillips. This is the Coach Bailey Show, Week 3. Coach Bailey, I wish we were talking about something a little bit better than the last game.
Yeah, you and me both.
Right.
You know, I said it right after the game. I've had better days on the football field. That one was tough, man. But I tell you what, our kids fought. They played hard. You know, Spence going down there in the first half, that was a tough deal.
Right.
You know, for all of us. But our kids played hard. Cullman's a very good football team. Coach Glasscock and his staff do a great job with those guys. That team's going to win a lot of games this year. You know, they were a second-round playoff team last year in 6A. I think they have about 30-something seniors. You know, they were better this year than they were last year. And, you know, we never really got anything going offensively. Had 2 trips down in the red zone and came away with no points. And you can't do that against a good football team. But our kids stayed in there, man. They kept fighting and they kept swinging. So.
Right. Cullman comes out early. That first drive, it was a lot like the Mars Hill game. They drive down, score, put you guys in the hole early. Then you guys just on offense kind of sputtered a lot. Cullman goes up 14-0 before halftime. Third quarter, y'all had a really good drive to start the second half. It gets halted by a bad snap or a couple penalties, I think, too, involved in there. And then they turn around and go score again, and that's pretty much the scoring for the game.
Yeah, they got the ball to start. Went right down and scored. We got to find a way to start the football game faster, you know, which is something we talked a lot about after Mars Hill. But it's something we got to do. You know, we can't just kind of spot them 7 points to start the game. Kind of rocked along there for a while in the first half. We ended up cutting the post loose. You know, just didn't have the guy in the spot he needed to be. I thought the quarterback overthrew him with that wide out. Went and got it, making a heck of a catch. We're down 14-0. Driving right there, you know, at the end of the first half. Ended up not converting on a 4th down, you know, and that was the play that Spence went out on. Still got the ball to start the second half. Put a little drive together, went right down the field. Ended up stalling out in the red zone. That really could have changed the tone of the game.
Right.
You know, if we're able to cut it to 14-7 or even 14-3, you know, because we ended up missing a field goal. If we were able to get some kind of points, you know, out of that one and change the scoreboard a little bit, kind of give our defense a breath of fresh air, that would have helped. You mentioned the snaps. That was tough, man. You know, and that's something that we've talked about and emphasized, and it was an issue all day. You know, so there's some changes that we're going to have to make in that area because you can't operate effectively and efficiently on offense if you can't snap the ball to the quarterback. So that's something we got to get fixed. You know, and that's on me. That's not on any player. That's on me. You know, It's just something we got to get fixed. So we're able to move the ball a little bit with Kevon in there. At quarterback, you know, he kind of stepped in and he did everything he could, you know, and all of our kids did. I mean, they fought, and you know, it was just a tough day. You know, it was a tough day out there against a good football team. Like I said, a veteran football team, a lot of seniors. They played well. They only turned it over that one time, you know, down there on the option, and I think they fumbled the pitch and gave us the ball right there on the short porch and still wasn't able to punch it in. So we thought we had some opportunities to make it, you know, a closer ball game, but just wasn't able to do it. But I was proud of our effort. You know, our kids stood in there and fought and played that thing down to the wire. So we got to get better as far as the execution standpoint, you know, on some things.
When you mentioned the defense played really hard the entire game and only gave up really a couple big plays.
Yeah.
And then that one sustained drive. But the defense, they hung in there even till the bitter end because Cullman never really had their twos in there.
No.
You know.
No, it wasn't that type game, man. They never had their twos in there. So it was the first drive of the first half to start the game. They went down and scored. First drive of the second half, they went down and scored. And then they had the big play where we cut that post loose. But outside of that, man, our defense stood in there and fought. You know, and I've been a part of some games kind of like that before when the offense ain't doing a whole lot. You know, it's hard. It makes it that much harder on you defense to continue to play with emotion, to continue to pursue the football. And I've seen some teams when you know the offense ain't getting anything going, the defense just mail it in.
Right.
And that game turns out to be 35-0, 42-0, something like that. But our guys never did that, man.
Right.
They never. And that's a credit to Coach Butler, to his staff, to all of our guys on defense. I mean, they stood in there and kept swinging and played that thing the right way and finished it out.
Well, both games so far, we don't have a way to keep up with time of possession in high school football, but y'all have been on the negative end of time of possession for sure.
We have, and part of that, kind of speaks to the style of offense of both the teams that we played.
Right.
Playing a wing T team and then playing, Cullman, who is kind of wing T-ish and option and very run-oriented, that kind of speaks to that. But our defense, for the most part, is kind of adopted a bend but don't break. You're going to give up some first downs doing that, but you got to bow your neck in the red zone and get off the field when you can. So hopefully that's something we can do a better job of moving forward, is kind of grinding that thing out and keeping our defense off the field.
Well, and this week we start region play.
Sure do.
That's something a lot of people have talked about since the region came out. And we start off with possibly the best team in the region.
Yeah, this region ain't no joke.
Right.
Everybody knows that. I mean, Clay-Chalkville's one of the best teams in our region. I put them right there at the top, and there's several very good football teams in this region. Clay-Chalkville's one of the best teams in 6A, and have been for a while. They got a lot of tradition. It wasn't too long ago they had a 2-year span where I think they went 29-1, and when Coach Hood was there, and a lot of good football players, and good athletes that come out of that community. So it's a challenge, and that's what I told my guys yesterday. I was like, what an opportunity. I mean, what an opportunity for us to go out and play one of the best teams in the state, and let's see what we got, man. Let's go out there, fight this thing out as hard as we can. Let's see what we got, man. Let's see what happens. So we're excited for the opportunity, man. We know it's going to be a challenge, but we're excited for the opportunity to play against one of the best and find out what we can do.
Just talk about them a little bit, what you've seen on film, what do they do? Especially different than the other two teams you've played so far.
Yeah, well, as Coach Matthews would say, they're really good at foosball.
Right.
That's something he says a lot. So defensively, they're even front more often than not. They really try to utilize their speed. They're not as big up front as they have been typically, as far as across the D-line. Now, they got some guys that get off the ball. They're quick off there, and they try to strike gaps and take gaps. But they're not just huge, interior defensive linemen. They got a couple of inside linebackers that look the part now. 44 and 11. You're talking about 6'2", 185, 200-pound guys who can run and strike. They look like what linebackers ought to look like, Very fast and athletic, on the back end.
I think it probably goes without saying you need some support Friday night.
Yeah, as much as we can get, man. Everybody come on out to Ki-Ro Gambrell Field and see the Vikings in their first region game, so that'll be a lot of fun.
We can't say don't worry about that 50% capacity rule, but as many fans as possible can show up.
Yeah, buy your tickets. Yeah, there's tickets online. As many of them as we can sell, let's buy them up and get out there, because that does make a difference, man. It helps. Our kids can feel that, and that's part of, being at Cullman, and that didn't directly impact the outcome of the football game. What happened on the field is the football game, but, our band wasn't there because they can't travel, and you didn't have that noise, you didn't have that energy, and then playing on Saturday, too. That's we talked about that before. 2020 continues.
Right, yeah.
We were supposed to play on Friday night, and then there was a tornado in Cullman, so we moved it to 11 o'clock.
And y'all had like the Jefferson Pilot kickoff.
We did. Raycom Sports, Jefferson Pilot kickoff at 11 o'clock on Saturday. So that was different for our guys. But I thought they handled those changes well. I thought emotionally we were as ready to play, as we could have been. Cullman came out and did the things they needed to do. That was, the difference in the football game right there. But I told my guys when that game got moved, I said, some of you have spent your whole lives dreaming about playing football on Saturdays. And now you get a chance to do that.
That's right.
So, but yeah, like what I originally started talking about, the energy of that, the band and our fans, you can feel that on the sideline, and that does make a difference, and it does help our guys.
And what's the website they go to?
GoFan.
GoFan.co, right?
I believe that link is on all of our social media. I know it's put out there, so you can check any of that.
And we'll put it on the screen here. People can see it right now.
Oh, yeah, there it is, right there.
One last thing. I know last week y'all were the Prep Zone game of the week, y'all Fox 6 game of the week, all these games of the weeks. But we started a new thing last week on our show called Coach Speak. And I heard you got a little rubbing out of that, like some people were all over you about something.
Yeah, my coaches were sitting in there in the conference room one day after practice watching that thing and gave me a little bit of a hard time about it. I don't know, man. I just try to be me. And that's what Coach Darwin said. He said the funny thing about it, he goes, that's exactly how you talk at practice all the time. And it is. I think you got to coach your guys hard, and you got to set the standard for them and hold them accountable to it. But you also got to love on them. So, I guess some of my catchphrases people thought were pretty funny, calling a kid Sugar Bear.
Oh, yeah. You're not going to live down Sugar Bear.
Sugar Bear's fine, man. It could be a lot worse than Sugar Bear. Yeah. I could have said much worse than Sugar Bear. So I think I referenced Eminem at one point.
You did. So. And I think people should know that you're not a coach that we have to bleep out a lot of times. That's good.
That is good, yeah. No, that could have been a lot worse, so there wasn't a lot of bleeping out. So, yeah, no, like I said, man, just try to coach them hard, but also have a good time. You can do both, man. You know, you can coach your guys hard and get after them, and then you can also just let them know that you care about them and make a joke every now and then, and that can help lighten the mood.
That's right.
So I've always tried to do that.
Well, Coach, anything else before we go?
No, man, appreciate you having me. Appreciate y'all doing this. Proud of our kids, man. We're going to keep fighting. We're going to hang in there and keep swinging. Go Vikes.
All right. Hey, guys, you heard it. The Vikings need you to show up Friday night. Clay-Chalkville's coming to town, first region game. Be sure to be there. Until next week, I'm James Phillips. We'll see you on Friday night at Ki-Ro Gambrell.